doesn't love to look at food? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I wanted to get you updated. I'm challenging myself to a Whole30 for the month of September. And this is something that I've done quite a few times. But not only am I challenging myself to this Whole30, I'm also challenging myself to eat at home for 30 days so I can look at the costs. So before we get started, I want to remind you to please like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy this video. I am on day 20 and the average for me to eat in a day is around $10 Canadian. You can go back to one of my other videos where I explain my cost breakdown. I also have recipes, how to save money on groceries. In my last video, my aunt commented and say, I couldn't wait to see your food video. When you do the Whole30, you have to be creative in your kitchen. There's rules against the ingredients that you can use listed here, and this makes you a better chef because you have to get creative, not using dairy, not using gluten, not using sugar. This plan has made me a better cook. I haven't always been a great cook. I do still fail now and again. Every time I make a meal, it's like doing an experiment in the kitchen. Look at all this yumminess in the past that I've made on the Whole30. I wanted to show you this time what I'm eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. I want to show you some of the yummy food that I have made in the last 20 days. Who doesn't love to look at food? Food, glorious food. So we'll start off with breakfast. I make a homemade coffee creamer out of a can of coconut milk. I top it off with almond milk, cinnamon, and vanilla, and this makes my coffee creamy, which I enjoy first thing in the morning to get my day started. I couldn't go without my caffeine, and I do love my coffee creamy. I actually really like the taste of this creamer. Here's a picture of regular creamer on the left and the coconut milk creamer on the right. Another breakfast that I usually have while I'm on the Whole30 is chia pudding. It's very easy to put together. What I do is I add 4 cups of milk to a bowl and 3/4 cups of chia seeds. I mix in a little cinnamon and a little vanilla and whisk, whisk, whisk. You leave this in the fridge overnight, and in the morning you'll have a delicious pudding. Sometimes it clumps up, but if you give it a little whisk, it'll just be fine. What's nice about this chia pudding is that it's under $1 to make. You can add additions to the chia pudding you would like for instance, raspberries. Here it is with peaches. I like it with banana and walnuts, apples and pear. Doesn't need to be fancy for me. Strawberries and grapes, bananas, raisins, and walnuts. And this one was one of my favorites, carrot cake chia pudding. I added grated carrots, apple, cinnamon, raisins, and walnuts, and it was very delicious. It didn't last very long, and I got rid of all the leftover grated carrot I had in my fridge. If you prefer to go savory for your breakfast, you can always do eggs. You can always do sugar-free bacon. Read your ingredients to make sure that there's no nitrites or sulfites or sugar in your bacon. I like to put it in my cold oven and set the temperature for 400 degrees, and I cook for 20 minutes and you have perfect bacon. You can add this to hash browns with guacamole. There it is again, the hash browns and guacamole. I think this was leftovers. Or eggs and bacon and hash browns and fruit. I discovered a recipe on YouTube for egg bites with sweet potato and pear, and I thought that's a really interesting combination. I kind of want to try that. I thought I had sweet potato in the house, but I did not, so I had to use butternut squash instead. With these egg bites, you can be creative. You can add whatever vegetables you wish, or even add a little bacon and sausage. Whisk up some eggs, add it to the things you want to put inside the egg bites in these little silicone muffin liners, or what would you call those? Silicone muffin thingies. Whisk up the eggs, add it to a muffin pan, And whisk up your eggs and put it in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes, and you have a delicious breakfast that you can eat for days. I kept the leftovers in the fridge. Look at how good those look. Add a piece of fruit to it, and you have a nutritious breakfast. I also found these sausages at a local farmer's market that are compliant. I added eggs, hash browns, and a couple pieces of peach to my breakfast. For lunch, it's always good to make a quick protein salad and add some cut up vegetables that you have available in the fridge. I like to add some pickled onions or olives, radishes, carrots, celery. Very tasty. Whenever I come home from the produce store, I like to wash up my produce and cut it up and keep it in the fridge, so when I'm hungry, it's all ready to go for me if I'm hangry. Another good lunch is just taking the leftovers out of the fridge from the night before and adding a cut up veggies that you have already ready for you. Or leftover soup from the night before. This is zuppa toscana. Leftover meatballs. Or you could just make a salad with some leftover egg bites like I did here. This dressing is so easy. It's just mayo mixed with apple cider vinegar and salt and pepper. I added this to a BLT salad with a leftover egg bite, or you can add it to a broccoli salad, which is just broccoli, grapes, bacon, walnuts, raisins, and a little bit of onion. Add the dressing of your choice and mix it all up. I ate this for days. I love this broccoli salad. It is one of my favorites. Another good one is eggs are so reasonable. These eggs cost me 41 cents each. I just scrambled them up, added them to a cut up tomato I already had in the fridge as leftovers. And there you go, you have lunch for under $1. So tasty too. I just got some herbs from my garden. It was so good. Now, dinner. Yum! Okay, this was a chicken and peach Asian salad where I just made my own dressing. This was kind of a sesame dressing. I added some nuts and some cucumber, some mint, carrots, peach. This was a very tasty salad. Big Mac salad. This is one of my family favorites. I make a Whole30 compliant Big Mac sauce with mayo, sugar-free ketchup, mustard, paprika, garlic powder, salt and pepper. Sometimes I add everything bagel seasoning. I add pickles, cut up onion, and add it to some greens with some cooked ground beef. Kinda kills that Big Mac craving. So good. Sometimes I just see what I have left over in the fridge for produce and just create something. I had a ton of peppers, so let's make some stuffed peppers. Add some ground beef and whatever. Anyways, chicken soup is always a good one. I like to make my own bone broth and just see what leftover veggies I have. I love chicken soup. I added some ginger and some garlic to this. This is meatballs. I had a zucchini left over. I just added some peppers to it, and it was a quick and easy dinner to make. It was also very reasonable because really the most expensive ingredient that you have in this meal is the ground pork, which was $6.97 for a pack, and add a little hot sauce to it. And then you have leftovers too. Shepherd's pie, it's just use coconut milk. Add a little bit to the mashed potatoes and some cut up veggies for the side. I love my shepherd's pie with ketchup, and this ketchup from Primal Kitchen is a Whole30 approved product, and I love it. It makes it so much easier to just buy it in the store rather than making homemade ketchup. This is just chicken thighs I threw in a frying pan with some olive oil and some salt and pepper. Dinner, I usually just look at what proteins I have available to take out of the freezer and add some veggies to it. I wanted to make a Mexican pot roast. I decided to put a lime inside the Instant Pot, which was a bad mistake because everything tasted like bitter lime. Fresh is better, and I should have squeezed the lime on fresh in the end, but you learn from your mistakes. So now I know in the future, do not put lime inside your Instant Pot. This is a regular in our household. It's called Zuppa Toscana. It's a knockoff of the Olive Garden soup. I like to add my homemade broth and potatoes to my Instant Pot, and then I make my own chicken sausage just by frying up chicken in a pan. You add bacon and kale and coconut milk to your soup, and you have a delicious meal that lasts for days. It's even better when it's left over. For my spices, I like to use paprika, fennel, garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, just whatever kind of spices you like, kind of experiment. Oregano, I put oregano in practically everything, and even basil, red pepper flakes. When my zuppa toscana is done, we top it off with pieces of bacon, and I like to sometimes put jalapenos and onion. It feels so good for you. Doesn't that look good? Oh, I could eat this for days. It's so tasty. Another good one to have is homemade hamburgers. I just made a couple patties without the cheese for myself, and this one was really tasty. Just added some cut up potato, carrot, and onion. You just have your favorite burger toppings. We had fish one night. We're not big fish eaters, but I did buy a trout. I made my own tartar sauce with pickles and mayo and apple cider vinegar to give it a kick, and roasted some potatoes to go along the side. When you're feeling hungry and you want a snack, have some fruit, have some veggies and some nuts. You could even have some prosciutto, which is very tasty. Make a charcuterie plate and drink lots of water. Stay tuned for my results of this Whole30. I'm on day 20. I'm excited for my last 10 days. I feel like $1,000,000. If you haven't checked out my other Whole30 videos, please check them out. Please like and subscribe. If I don't ask you, you don't know. Yeah, that's it.